What's poppin', fam? Welcome to Don't Touch My Mindset, a podcast that is designed to uplift, inspire, and motivate you, and most importantly, share tools to help you protect that mindset. We are back with another pivotal moment, and this one's fire. Absolutely love the diversity, the knowledge. Good friend of mine, honestly, so much fun during this interview. Man, such a treat coming to the show. But I want to say hello. I am your host, Jay Chase, and welcome back. If this is your first time here, please press the follow button, the subscribe button, whatever it is that you're listening on. Just make sure you're coming back for more and more episodes. Rate, review, share with a friend. You never know what your friend might need to hear today, Take what resonates, leave the rest. This is the Pivotal Moment series, number 3. So let's get her rocking. So happy you're here. Please follow the show. Follow me on Instagram at the J Chase. Follow me on Clubhouse at the J Chase. And join the community. We have a beautiful community. Check the show notes for all the links. Please reach out. And I hope you enjoy. Elia, where you from? What do you do? Who are you? Tell me a little bit about you, Elia.
Sure. I'm from Mexico. I grew up in Veracruz, stopped in Mexico. It's on the east coast of the Gulf of Mexico. So very tropical weather. Some people call me, jungle girl or something. They think I grew up in the jungle, but no, it was actually a small city, but it was a little city, but yeah, close to the jungle, and I love the jungle. I love nature and everything. Goodness gracious, very small city, small town girl. I had big dreams since I was little. I always knew I was not gonna stay there. I knew I needed to expand. I wanted more. So even since I was little, I always have like ambitions and dreams, and I wanted to fulfill those dreams. I grew up in a family that was it was a very artistic family. I grew up painting, so I've been an artist since I was 8 years old. But it was also a very dysfunctional family too. My father was an alcoholic. My mother was. My mom is a very sweet woman, but I felt like during that time she just didn't know how to set boundaries, and she was taking in a lot of. So there was a lot of domestic abuse growing up, and I got to experience that growing up. So I grew up with that thought that was normal. Somehow. I knew it wasn't normal. I knew in my heart it wasn't normal.
Right.
But in my head, it had become normalized. I'm a hypnotherapist now, so I study the mind. I love the mind. People say like, you're not the mind, but no, you are the mind. You really are. Everything that you do, it's because of the mind. And everything that we do is because of our subconscious mind more than anything. Like, our brain is 5% of our brain is consciousness, 95% of the brain is subconscious. So everything that we do and act and say and all the habits that we have, there are, embedded in that subconscious part of our brain. And so subconsciously, I grew up with that idea that was normal. So I grew up, got married very young. I moved to Mexico City when I was 15, and I finished high school over there. I was in a boarding school. I begged my parents to send me to boarding school.
Why?
What child begs their parents to send to boarding school? But that's how much I wanted it. That's how much I wanted my dream, because I was willing to remove myself from that toxicity of my own family, that it's my own family and I love them. And a lot of things have changed. A lot of things change. But that's how much I was willing to go for my dream, because I needed to remove myself from that situation. I needed to remove myself from that state, literally and mentally and spiritually. Yes. So I went to boarding school in Mexico City, and then after that, I applied to school in Utah. So right after high school, grew up from high school, went back home for a couple of months, and then I flew to Utah by myself. I was 18, by myself. I didn't know the language. I mean, I knew somewhat, I knew the basic. But I love languages. I mean, right now I speak 3.
Wow.
So Spanish, English, and Italian, and I just love learning. I love learning, and it's something that you should never stop. You should never stop learning. I would say that to anybody. If you have curiosity, it's like nurture that curiosity.
Really I believe that.
Yes, nurture that curiosity. Anyways, was 19 when I met my ex-husband now, but but I could say I'm happily divorced now. But gosh, yes, that was it became a very toxic relationship from the beginning, and we stay in there for like 10 years together, living together, and being married, and we have 2 children. It wasn't until I was 26. The brain doesn't develop till the human brain doesn't develop all the way until you're around 25, 26. And I remember I was 26, and I remember exactly the time, because I just felt how this little thing just kind of clicked, and my brain just went like, and literally I just stopped, and I was like, I had this like aha moment in that precise moment, where I was just like, like, I'm 26-year-old. I'm 26. I'm married already, and I have 2 children already. Like, what the fuck did I just do? Like, oh my God, because I have no idea what the fuck am I doing right now. It
was like a slap in the face, right?
And honestly, in that moment, that's when everything started. When I started having what people experience as a middle age crisis. I had my crisis at 26. I did. I mean, I started so early, I started so early. I was ahead already. I was ahead. So.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
I married when I was 19, so I was already ahead.
Yeah.
And so it was like, shit, now what do I do? Because I'm not happy, and and I believe in God. I mean, at that time I was very religious. And so I was like, well, I don't believe in divorce, but I'm at the point where I'm, this is not healthy. This is not healthy for me. This is not going to be healthy for my children. And this is just not healthy. I should just, I really need to like get out of the situation. And so I had that battle in my head. And so for a while, because of that conflict in my head, that's actually the reason why I became a therapist, was because, our brain cannot deal with 2 conflicting ideas.
Yes. No.
It cannot.
It cannot.
And so I have the one side, it's like the little angel and the devil, like one side and the other one. So that's what I had, right? And that's what normally people have when they're going to that conflict. And so that created even more conflict in my head. And I started having depression and anxiety and insomnia, and even, like I didn't see it like that before, but now, as a professional now, I know I had addictions too. Maybe it wasn't like drug addictions, like, but it was like I had I have shopping addictions. Even just going to the mall and shopping for something will give me that instant gratification, that instant just that, that high of that one moment. It was a high right there, right? So,
that one moment.
So I didn't need any drugs, and I was an athlete too. I was a runner. And so the way I see it now is that not only I was a runner because it had become an addiction, because I would get the runner's high, so that was amazing, right? But also I was literally running from my problems.
Oh yeah, I can see.
I wasn't ready to confront that issue. I wasn't ready to confront the fear, the fear of what if, if I get divorced, like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm staying home. I've been staying home this whole time. I haven't worked in so long. And so, gosh, like, how am I going to do this? And then of course, you have the other side, the other partner who is not, the whole reason why is because, you have that narcissistic relationship with that partner. So my level of confidence, let's just say there was no level of confidence. There was no level of confidence, zero level of confidence, zero level of self-esteem. If anything, I would look at myself in the mirror and I would be like, gosh, like, I must be very ugly for him to not see me.
Wow.
Like, seriously, that's how bad it was. Like,
yeah.
And so when I see clients now that they've been through, domestic abuse, narcissistic relationships, I completely understand their pain, because I understand the pain because I experienced that pain for so many years, and I'm very thankful for it now.
Yeah.
Super thankful for it. There was a time where I wasn't thankful for it, of course, I went through the whole grieving process where, at first I felt like a victim, why me? So you start kind of like, asking God and like, why am I going through this? I really I can't keep going like this anymore. I just can't do this anymore. Like, why do I have to keep doing this? But it wasn't until years later, after going through, therapy, and I went through quite, probably a year or so more of therapy, and I did even different techniques. Like, I did cognitive behavioral therapy, like talking therapy.
Yeah,
I did, and then I also hired a coach who was an NLP to help me refrain and reprogram and reteach my my brain, because there were a lot of words that had a very hurtful meaning for me. There were, my ex-husband was it was verbal abuse. So it was the name calling, and like, I can take that, but when you're taking that every single day,
it beats you down.
It becomes embedded in your brain, and you start doubting yourself. And then not only you start doubting yourself, you start believing that you are that thing, that you're dumb, that you don't know how to do this, that you're, whatever, And so, goodness, like, how do you get out of that? So therapy, definitely, that's one thing that I would say to anyone is, like, you go for, don't just ask your best friend. I mean, your sweet best friend might have the best, want to have, the best for you, and they love you and everything, but like, go to a professional.
Absolutely.
Go to a professional. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help.
You have
to. I feel like that's one thing that needs to be normalized, to be able to ask for help. When you feel that you just cannot do it anymore, you're just ready to just throw everything and just say, fuck this world. I'm just ready to go. Just take me now. Like, seriously, it's like, just ask for help. Ask for help, and just go to that, whatever, find different groups. I started, finding different groups. I even started going to a book club because I felt like I needed to learn more. It's like reading more. I started like in the book club that I went, that particular one, we were reading books about family. We were reading books about parenting books. Because again, my parenting skills were not like, the best. I didn't have the best parents. And so, so it was like, like I did the best that I could with the tools that I have. And we all do that. We all do the best that we can with the tools that we have. That we have a child and nobody handles you a manual and say like, this is what this child needs.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does.
Nobody
doesn't work like that. And nobody says like, and by the way, this is how you're supposed to be a parent, like, no. I mean, there's parenting classes, of course. I took those parenting classes. So I went back to school and I actually studied marriage and family studies. So I love everything about relationships and the family dynamics and different, all the different, love styles and all of that, like I really needed to learn that because I wanted to be a better mother for my children.
Right.
And then of course I wanted to be a great, therapist. But maybe not the best, like I'm not a perfectionist, but I wanted to be among the best therapists in the world.
Ooh.
And that's my goal. That's still my goal,
Yes.
So
big dreamer, and I love it.
Yes,
I love it. Yes.
Absolutely. So I mean, like, for my parents, my mom says like, since you were little, you always said that you were going to live in the US. You always said that you were going, and I was like, yes, and here I am. So never let anybody, my ex-husband used to say like, why do you keep on, painting? Why do you keep on doing this? Why do you keep on, wanting to paint? Like that's such a waste of time. After I got divorced, and then a few years later, I started painting, went back to just kind of connecting with other artists here in the, the community in San Diego. And I had my first solo show. And I sold the most expensive paint. First thing when, so never let anybody tell you no, that you cannot do that, or that you're not, you shouldn't be doing that, or that that's a waste of your time. It's like never. That's
don't touch my mindset. If I can do it, I can do it. You know what
exactly. I mean? It's like take it as a challenge. Yes. Take it as a challenge. Yes. More than kind of like go down and feel like, oh well, maybe no. Take it as a challenge. It's like, you know what? This person doesn't believe that I can do this. I'm gonna prove that not only I can do it, but I can do it better.
Right. It's like, you're not going to believe me, but guess what? I believe me. I believe me.
Yes.
I believe me. You don't got to believe me. You're not living my life.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so it's so beautiful because I believe that we need to live in the power of the imagination over the power of the ego, of knowing who we once was, but actually visualizing who we're going to be and what we can do and what we want to do. So I think it's beautiful that you said that. I absolutely love that about you. Is that you can,
thank you.
No, because that's extremely strong for you to go through that amount of abuse, that amount of limiting beliefs that are put on you. I mean, if it was me, I was labeled with everything in the book, but it's hard to come out of that. Right. So hand over heart, I'm super proud of you. Oh my God, I'm inspired by you.
Thank you. I mean, even as a little kid, I used to be bullied by my own brothers because I look different. We have a little bit of like African descendant in our family, and so they would make fun because I'm the only one that has the big lips or the curly hair, and so it was like, ooh, you're like a little black kid. And so I used to be bullied for that too,
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Even at school's the same thing, It's like, oh, curly hair, big, puffy, curly hair. So I used to get bullied, like for that too. So it's like, and now I love my lips. I love my hair. And it's like, yeah, you know what? People are paying to have the lips that I have. So
right.
fuck you.
Exactly. Man.
Right? And so it is such a beautiful thing to have too. Now that I'm now that I'm older and I'm an adult, I embrace all the different cultures that I have. Because I not only, have the African culture in me, I have the Latin culture in me too. I have the Middle Eastern culture in me too. And to be quite honest, whenever I go to a different country, they think that I'm from their country. I was in Turkey and they thought that I was from Turkey. I was Italy and they thought I was Italian. Yes. You go to like somewhere else and they think, they thought that I was Arabic too. So it's like, or like my best friend from Ethiopia, she thought I was a black, what is it called? A white black. She thought I was a white black. And I'm like,
a white black? What? I've never heard that.
A white black. I've never heard that before, but I was like, all right, I'll take it.
But,
like I feel like I can relate with so many cultures. And I love that because I love cultures, I love cultures and I embrace every single one of them. Every single culture in the world has something so beautiful and so unique and so particular to that specific, their specific culture, language, and it's just everything. The costumes that they have, everything really. Yes. It's like I go to a different country and I experience a different culture and I'm like a kid in Disneyland.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. So where all have you been? You've been in Turkey, you've been to
Italy. I love Italy. I felt like in my past life I lived in Italy.
Okay.
So I'm very connected. I feel so connected to Italy. Yes. I've been told that in my past life I also used to live in France too. So I feel a connection with France, and I actually have a little bit of French descendant too from my mom's side. Really? So from my mom is such a mix because there is the French, but there's also the Cuban African too. So such a beautiful mix there.
Yeah, so, no, that's gorgeous. That's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Wow. Yes. So I mean, now I get to embrace all of that, and I absolutely love. I love the way I look. It's like, but I did a lot of one exercise that I used to do every single day was praising myself in front of the mirror. Like I would stand up in front of the mirror, and I would just praise myself. And it was kind of awkward at first, because I wasn't familiar to listening to that. I wasn't familiar to hearing those praising words, about myself.
Yeah.
Like you're beautiful, you're amazing, you can do this, you're enough, whatever, whatever it is that comes out that feels good, just like say it to yourself. And I did that every single day until to the point where I was able to stand in front of the mirror naked. And I would say that to myself, and I would say that to every part of my body too. Man. Because how often do we do that to, thank it, our hands or thank our arms or thank our legs because you keeping me, standing because you're helping me walk to I need to walk, to wherever I need to walk. And my hands, my ex makes fun of me because I talk with my hands. So I was like, you know what? But my hands, thank you because you let me express me,
Right.
And so those are some of the things that I started doing to build my confidence and to build my self-esteem.
Right. To build that mindset.
Really, the word. Yes, that's the mindset. That it's a whole practice. You need to change that mindset by practicing. because our brain learns by repetition. So you have to continually repeating this to yourself every single day and throughout the day too. Repeating yourself.
It's super interesting that you do that, because I read a book, I want to say 4 times, and it was The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but he actually put that in his book, and I practiced it. I didn't do it every day. But I practiced that, of standing in front of the mirror and apologizing to my body for neglecting it and showing it care and compassion. I went through a breakup, and I stopped eating. I got super depressed. I got in my head.
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I lost it. Wow, right? And then there was one day where I remembered what that book said, and it said, apologize to your body. Show it love. Show it love. When you want to start mastering self-love, you have to love the body that you're in. You have to love the mindset that you're in. You have to love the life that nobody's going to love your life like you love your life. Anybody else from the outside is just going to be a secondary character, and you're the main character of your story. And you have to love that. So I love that about you. So you said you're a hypnotherapist. What do you achieve during your sessions? I'm super interested. I've never been to a hypnotherapist. Don't even know what they do besides hypnotize me. But what is the goal, and how do you work? How do you work, girl?
So as a hypnotherapist, so like I said, I try other modalities too, other techniques too, like cognitive behavioral therapy, which is just talking therapy. And talking therapy helps, but just to a certain degree, right? It works until the patient gets tired of repeating the same thing. But with hypnosis, what happens is that everything gets stored in the subconscious. Yeah. So with hypnosis, I'm able to put your not necessarily, you're not asleep. It's like you're asleep, but you're not asleep. It's the sleep of your nervous system. Your nervous system is asleep during that moment.
Yeah.
So that 5% of your brain is sleeping at that moment, right? It's resting for the moment. It's like, let's put that down for a little bit, bring the subconscious, and let's dig a little deeper in there. And so what I do is that I regress my clients back to 3 scenes. And those 3 scenes have everything to do, they have the root and the cause and the reason of why they're suffering with depression, for example, or anxiety, or whatever the issue is. Right. And so then we go back to that first scene, right? And then we, maybe they were 2 years old, maybe they were 5-year-old at that time, and something happened. Something happened that set the mode for that particular issue that is manifesting now as an adult.
That's and so progress, yeah.
Right, because it's so what I believe is that every experience has a cycle.
Yeah.
And when that cycle gets kind of like stopped, it's blocked. And so that cycle was never able to close. You were never able to close that cycle. You weren't able to close that experience. So that stays there. That's why it creates like that trauma, right? So then I take him to another scene, and then a third scene. Most hypnotherapists only take you to 1 scene. And I train with Marisa Peer. Marisa Peer is she's like the #1 hypnotherapist in the UK. And she created this method. It's called RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy. Okay. Rapid because it works rapid. And that's what I wanted for my clients, to get something quick so that they could sit down in 1 session. We could get down to the issue, like right there, and fix it.
Get down to the nitty gritty right there.
Yes,
no wasting time.
Yes. So because not only we do regression with RTT, we do regression, but then we let go. We do even inner, for most of my clients, and I would say for anything, I do inner child work, where you get to have that experience to be the parent that you always wanted to be for that 5-year-old Jay. What the 5-year-old Jay wanted in that moment.
Yes.
And it's like, well, he wanted to be loved, and he wanted to be heard, and he wanted to be hugged, and he wanted to be just, have that affection. It's like, well, you can do that right now, and literally they're with their eyes closed, and they're just hugging. They're hugging, loving, and they understand of how much they need to embrace and love that child, your inner child. And compassion, have that compassion. And then that's called merging the child. Because what I do is that, I make them visualize that child, that 5-year-old Jay right in front of you. And then, have it, have that compassion, have that loving moment with it, and then merge it in yourself so that you keep it protected in there, so that you don't forget that it is your duty to protect that, to care for it and love it and take care of that child. But or you take care of you, take care of yourself. So and then after I do that, I do another exercise to let go. And then I do the transformation part. So in the transformation part, that's when we use NLP, and we reprogram the brain basically to do whatever it is that you want to do. So let's say you've been suffering with confidence. So in the reprogram part, I have a transcript where it's all about boosting your confidence. Boosting your confidence to get you to the level that you want to be. So I do that, confidence transcript, record that part of the session. I don't record anything else except for that last part. And then I give that recording to my clients, and then they listen to it for at least 21 days, because it takes about at least 21 days to make a habit. And so they listen to it just to reinforce, really, to reinforce that, that session. And so that's how it works. I've seen a lot of, and I do this with athletes too. I work with athletes too. I just recently had one of my, he was a Paralympic. He went to Tokyo and he got a silver medal.
Wow, that's
and
awesome.
We only did 3 sessions.
Really?
Had he done more than 3 sessions, he probably would have gotten the gold. But I mean, I'm just saying.
Just saying, now we'll never know, right? Now we'll never know. You only did 3
But
sessions.
I mean, he's so, he believes so much in it that he's coming back next month and he wants to start already.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Like he wants to keep going with the sessions because he knows how much, 3 sessions help him.
Yeah.
To change that mindset.
Yes, that's
even,
amazing.
He was saying, like, even my coach was saying, like, wow, like your mindset is like totally different, because he let go of that limiting belief that was stopping him from really reaching out his full potential as an athlete.
Man, that's beautiful. You do some amazing work. I absolutely love that. You do what I'm trying to do in a more beautiful way, right?
We all do it differently, but everything's beautiful.
Everything's beautiful. No, I was just giving you your flowers. That is super impressive. 1, 2. I got a question for you.
Of course.
Yeah, we are
anything.
We are nearing the end of the hour, and I want to know if you had to give any one piece of advice to protect someone's mindset when the world is falling down, just like you, the things that you went through. If somebody's going through that, and you had one piece of advice, what would that be?
I would say listen to your intuition. If it doesn't feel right, it's because it's not right for you. And then just start with that, start with a little that little fire that's still in yourself to just help you ignite a change. Because that's what it helped me. It's just that it was at that point where I felt like, this is not right. This doesn't feel right. And I really want to get to where I'm happy. I can't do it right now, but I really want to. And I couldn't because I had depression, and it was like you're walking around with this little cloud in your head. Yeah. But I have that little desire. I still had that little spark in myself. Yeah. That was telling me, but you want better. You want better, and you know that you deserve better. So just start with that feeling, with that desire, and just to ignite that change in yourself. And just start working on yourself.
And once you start the work, it becomes a big thing. It does. I've been doing self-healing work for almost 5 years now. Absolutely insane. Of just wanting to get better, wanting to better my mindset, wanting to be just like 1% better than I was yesterday, and not out of a addictive place, but more out of a growth place. Like, it's time to grow. I've been through these things, but now it's time to grow. And I absolutely love that, because do the work and keep doing the work is what I always tell people. Keep doing the work, because as you evolve, your problems evolve. So you have to keep doing the work, Yeah. That's amazing. I absolutely, admire you. You inspire me. You motivate me. I love the work that you're doing. I'm so excited to work with you. Any closing remarks? Where can the audience find you? Tell them your name. We just kind of hopped right into it, didn't we?
I know, right? So my name is Elia Bean, and that's how you can find me. My name is everywhere. I'm like, it's everywhere. No, but my website is also Elia Bean. It's www.eliabean.com. Instagram. I'm very good at replying to my DMs. So if you send me a DM on Instagram, I will definitely reply. Again, it's Elia Bean too. Yeah. ELIABEAN.
Just
like green beans.
Just like green beans, yes.
Green beans.
I love that. And of course, I'm going to put all that in the show notes, and they'll be able to find you. And thank you. I mean, you came, you showed up, you were vulnerable, you let it out, and you were just like, hey, here it is. This is my story. This is what I've been through. This is my mindset. I'm all about self-love and getting down to that inner child. I love it.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for having me.